Oh, there we go. All right, we're live. Welcome back to our channel, everyone. This is Vito Scarnecchia with the Albatano Group here in San Jose, California. And today we have the privilege and honor of talking with Lisa Salt of Vernon, British Columbia. Lisa, welcome to our channel.
Thank you. Thank you. Nice to be here.
Yeah, I am so excited. I know I kind of just alluded to the fact that I'm Canadian. Hang on a second. Uh, Back in 1968, I was born in Winnipeg, Manitoba.
No kidding.
Yep.
Well, there you go.
Actually, it was St. James or Brown, something like that, some little offshoot town of Winnipeg. But yeah, so I learned how to skate and ski in Canada before I moved here in 1975. And then years later, back when I was 30, I started taking hockey lessons with a friend of mine. And wouldn't you know it, I was the only guy in this entire class that knew how to skate backwards. Not good. So all of a sudden, I was like the number one pick of drafts when it came to picking teams because
Nice.
because I knew how to skate backwards.
Awesome.
So Lisa, are you from Vernon?
I am born and raised, actually. Yeah. I'd left for 9 years to go to university and work down in Vancouver for a few years, but then I came back and started my real estate career. So I've been here pretty much my whole life.
So you went to the university in Vancouver.
I did. I went to UBC, University of British Columbia. Yeah.
Nice. I have cousins and an aunt and uncle in Burnaby, as a matter of fact.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. So a few years ago, I want to call it 10 or 12, we did a road trip from San Jose all the way up. And I have an aunt and uncle who live in Portland, Camas, Washington, Portland, Oregon area. And then they said, you have to go see these people. And I'm like, I don't know who they are, and they welcomed me in just like the Italians do. Oh, the whole hoopa hoopa thing, and fed us wine and lasagna and had a good time. And it was really amazing. It was amazing
Nice.
people. And then we spent some time in Victoria on Canada Day.
Oh, fun party.
Yeah. And wouldn't you know it, Canada or Victoria, Canada has the largest insect museum in the world.
I did not know that. Little known
something,
fact, little known fact, claim to fame.
something you learn every day. So you're Canada. You're obviously you're Canadian. So tell me about yourself.
Oh, well, I've already started, I guess, that we being born in Vernon, and yeah, grew up here in the Okanagan, which is a beautiful place to grow up and to live. And then, yeah, I mean, after high school, went directly to university, to UBC. I have my Bachelor of Commerce, and I worked. Actually, I was trained to be a portfolio manager and finance, and then decided I preferred marketing, and then took a job as a marketing executive. They called me a marketing executive. Really, I was an assistant actually for a number of years, and moved around a little bit, and then realized that I wanted to have my own business. That's My dad was an entrepreneur forever, and that's what I wanted to do, except I realized I didn't have any money. I was interested in real estate, and people said, "Oh, yeah, you know what? You'd be great. You'd be great in real estate sales." And I thought, "Oh, I don't know. That sounds scary." But I went ahead at eventually and did my real estate course down in Vancouver, and then moved back to Vernon. And it was at least something that I was able to do in such a way that with a lesser cash outlay. And yeah, been here ever since, and met my husband, who's a Calgary realtor, was a Calgary realtor. Now he's here in Vernon. We partnered up around 2001, 2000, well, 2008, he moved here for good. And yeah, that's me. I'm a trap shooter. That's what I do in my
Really,
spare time. Yeah, I shoot clay targets, and we are active in our local club.
that's really really cool. I've shot ski a few times in my
Yeah.
time. I was in the Marines for a long time, 12 and a half years, mostly reserve. I did all that stuff, but um, back before I joined, I got to do skeet shooting quite a few times because I had some friends that did that, and good time, fun time.
Nice. Nice.
It's getting expensive now, though, right?
Those prices are going up. There's no question. Well, especially in your neck of the woods. We were down there shooting this winter, and the prices have gone up. And I think people are kind of tending to maybe stockpile a little bit of that ammunition in the back 40 there. And so there's a shortage of
For
ammunition,
sure.
and the target prices are going up because the price of oil is going up. And
Yeah,
yeah, we're just dealing with that at our gun club right now.
yeah. I've watched. I have a few weapons. I don't use it for home security. I just use it for target shooting. And I've seen like the price of a 22 has gone up crazy expensive. I mean, when it's not on sale, it's like almost 25 cents a bullet, and then you can get them on sale for a nickel, which is crazy.
That's quite a difference.
Yeah, and then like a 9 mil is like 50 cents a pull on sale.
Holy.
Yeah, so I invested in a couple bows and a bunch of arrows, and I
There
made
you
the kids
go.
go grab them. It's a lot cheaper.
Reusable.
And we have an archery range probably 3 miles away from us.
Nice.
We never go. We should.
You should. Yes, you
Yeah.
should.
Kids all love it. They all love it, and they have a really good time. So that's your thing. That's your claim to fame. You enjoy skeet shooting.
Yes. Yep. That's what. Yep. And we have a really active club here, and we travel around. Yeah, we love it.
That's awesome. Do you hunt? Do you hunt for?
I do not. No.
It's okay too, because when the zombie apocalypse, I call it the zombie apocalypse. When COVID first happened, we all shut down. I went into prepper mode because we didn't know.
Who didn't?
And I was buying bullets and buying
Ammo and toilet paper.
and cheap vodka for antiseptic and trade, and it absolutely. So yeah, we went into deep dive,
Nice.
almost paranoid.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that was normal at the time, I think.
Yeah. So tell me, Vernon isn't a widely known area. It's almost, I know Kelowna. I have friends that have actually moved from BC to Kelowna. Tell me a little bit about Vernon.
Yeah, so we're about 40 minutes from Kelowna. And we're Kelowna, Vernon, Penticton are all in the Okanagan Valley. And you're right, very few people know of Vernon. People know of Kelowna. And when we say, oh yeah, we're right by Kelowna, oh yeah, Kelowna. And Kelowna is the major center. It's much larger than Vernon. We're more of we still have more of a small town feel, I guess you'd say, even though, I mean, we are a city. We have about 45,000 people in Vernon itself, and in the North Okanagan, which includes Coldstream and Armstrong and Lumbee and a number of different places. We're about 72,000 folks. And
that's respectable.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I don't know if you can tell, but I'm looking at Google Maps right now, and I'm just kind of letting people see where it is. So yeah, I mean, it's not like a metropolitan area, but here's the thing. I live in a major metropolitan area. We have high taxes, high cost of living. I know you do too, and because you have the federal taxes. But we have all these things where people kind of come and hang out. We have a huge homeless issue here. I know you have that in Vancouver as well, but you go out to these smaller towns and cities, it's more of a city, right?
Yeah, it is. It is a city, but it's a city where if you have to wait for two lights to get through the intersection, that you're incensed. That's what being a Vernonite is all about. What? We have to wait to get through two sets of lights? This is ridiculous.
The height of traffic.
Yeah, yeah. So we don't have that. We don't have that gridlock. We don't have even getting through Kelowna because the highway goes right through the center of the city. We don't. I mean, we have the highway going through the center of the city. It just we don't have the population, and we don't have the just the sheer number of vehicles on the road that they do in Kelowna. So in most well, I shouldn't say in most areas, but in if you compare the distance from Vernon to the Kelowna airport, for example, we're about 30 minutes. Sometimes you can't make it to the Kelowna airport from Kelowna in 30 minutes, especially if you're, say, in West Kelowna. You probably can't do it in 30 minutes, depending on the time of year, because in the summer, everything just, it just multiplies the number of vehicles on that highway.
Right. And then the airport's north of Kelowna, where West Kelowna is across the bridge.
Exactly.
I see.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So it all depends on what time your flight is, and do you have to deal with rush hour to get there?
Very cool.
Yeah, Vernon, there's not really much of a rush hour. Again, rush hour is waiting a light or maybe two and swearing because of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
We're spoiled, really.
I turn on, one of my podcasts, and lately it's been like either Adam Carolla or Joe Rogan, and I just go. I don't even think about it. I'm just in this, anything. And during rush hour here, we're looking at anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour and a half, depending on where you want to go. And it could be, there's nothing more than like 20 miles away. And yeah, so you're just going really, really slow, and that's just the way it is. And over the last 4 months, 5 months since January, traffic's been kind of back to normal.
Right. Right.
So what do you do for fun outside of shooting little clay pigeons? What else do you do? You have to be a foodie, right?
I mean, I love to eat. There's no question about that. I'm not necessarily a big fan of, well, I wouldn't call myself an accomplished chef or anything like that. Uh, Probably the closest I get is my Hello Fresh that comes every Monday. but
That's great.
but I do love to eat, and I do love good food. So I do love going to, my favorite restaurants around here. And we have a little condo in Palm Springs, so we love to go to our favorite places in Palm Springs. Yeah,
Like
love.
California.
Yes,
Get out of here.
it's true.
Good for you.
It's true. Yes.
For you
So
do get out.
yeah. So we should really come over closer to LA if we want the really good food, or I guess go to Vegas, I suppose. But yeah, in fact, anyway, I heard someone saying the other day, oh, in Palm Springs, oh, you can't get good food in Palm Springs. I thought, really? I can. At least I think I can.
Yeah.
In my estimation, it's great food. So, anyways.
You can get really, really good food there. You can get obviously you can get good food in LA, but Vegas too. But Palm Springs is known as a destination. You have to have places or else it wouldn't be, a fancy place to go.
True.
I'm going to start calling you Miss Fancy Pants.
Oh yes, you should.
So in Canada, BC, what's a famous food or meal that you have there other than poutine? Because everybody knows poutine.
That's true. Poutine. Well, you've got your Tim Hortons donuts. That's important.
Can't play hockey without it.
Back bacon. Canadian back bacon. Maple syrup. That's probably more back east.
Yeah, you don't actually make maple syrup there, right? I mean, that's mostly back east.
Yeah, it's back east. No, in BC, I don't even know what we have in terms of a specific food. Honestly, I can't even think of anything.
I can tell you that Vancouver is very metropolitan. It has anything you want.
Yes.
I've been there many, many times. Not so much since we've had kids, but before we had kids, I was in publishing, and I would travel up there quite a bit to go meet my now friends who live in Kelowna. and a few other clients. And a couple times I brought my wife up, and we would just spend the weekend just traveling around and exploring. And it's an awesome town. It's a big city, though. So I
Yes.
like the idea of smaller towns.
It is nice. It is nice to live in the smaller community because we're so close to Kelowna, and Kelowna's a city. Like, they've got high rises downtown. This is a big deal. We don't have any high rises. But yeah, so if whatever we want, 45 minutes, maybe an hour if you have to go across the bridge or whatever, and we can get whatever we want. We don't have a Costco in Vernon, for example, but there's one, I don't know, 35 minutes from my house. So close enough.
And you know what's funny? My Costco is probably, as a crow flies, it's probably 3 miles, 4 miles. It'll take me a good 15 minutes, 20 minutes sometimes to get there.
Nice.
I hit every stoplight, traffic, people drive slow, just.
Still 15 minutes. That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
It is. So do you have any kind of festivals, or like we have a village fest here in my area? San Jose is kind of broken down into 10 little areas because it's so big, it's so huge. And then we have another 12 cities around San Jose. So yeah, I'm sure you have art and wine festivals or things like that.
Yeah, in Vernon we have the big summer festival is Fantastics, and that's a huge softball tournament. It's the biggest one in Canada, I understand. And it's softball. Yeah.
Is that on skates or no?
No, no, not this one. Yeah, no, it's a summer tournament, and it's a big party, and they usually have big name bands that come as well.
Wow.
Which is great. So that's in the summer, and then in the winter we have the Vernon Winter Carnival, and that's 10 days. 10 days, I think it's 10 days of winter stuff, ice carving and some races and Jopo House and all these different chili cook-off, things like that. It's the parade, the Winter Carnival parade right downtown Vernon. It's been going on for, I'm going to say, I think it was its 50th year? It was a big year this past year. And yeah, so those are the two main ones in Vernon itself.
I was ready for you to talk about toboggan racing and snowball fights.
Yeah, maybe there is that. I don't actually know.
So, I mean, everybody thinks Canada, and those that don't know, most of the time it's green and lush and beautiful. You get your snow, but not that. I mean, I'm sure you get snowed in, right?
Sure, we do. In the Okanagan, we have 4 distinct seasons. We really do. Now, it seems like fall and spring are shortening up a little bit, and summer especially is getting a little bit longer, a little bit hotter, a little bit crazier sometimes. We have wildfires here as well.
Yep.
We had a big wildfire here. Well, a lot of wildfires, but one in particular here in Vernon just this past year, and it was quite bad. We lost a lot of houses. But no, we have and it's interesting because in the spring there's a couple of week overlap where you can go skiing at Silver Star in the morning, and then in the afternoon you can go golfing.
That's so cool. A little known fact, in Vegas, you're 45 minutes away from a ski slope. Yep. My sister lives, she's also a broker, and she lives in Henderson, which is south of Vegas.
Right.
And they've gone up to the snow and skiing. And then, I mean, it's obviously winter time, but they're not going to go to lakes or anything to hang out, but there's a lot of things you can do. So that's really cool. I was going to go somewhere with this, but my age is coming on to me.
Well, yeah, we were talking about, yes, we do get snow here. It does get cold. It's not as cold as, say, on the prairies. We're kind of, it seems to go from, say, Oh, see, I'm going to talk Celsius here. 0 to, kind of plus 2 down to -10-ish, but I don't even know what that is in Fahrenheit. So sorry.
32 is freezing for us.
Yeah. So I'm just not sure. Yeah. So let's just say it hovers around 32.
Yeah, during the winter.
Pardon? Yes.
Yeah, and then
Yeah. And it can get colder than that. We do get the cold snaps. Sometimes the lake will freeze a little ways out, but
and then when it gets warm, do you have the big Midwestern flies and mosquitoes that I remember from Winnipeg?
we do have some mosquitoes, but nothing like that. No, we're not known for that. We have, if you're by the lake, if you have the bats come and they eat the mosquitoes, so that's really nice. But we're not known for, really bad black flies, mosquitoes, nothing like that. But in the summer, it does get up to, 100 degrees. It can be, 85, and it can go over 100, but not for long. Again, if you're going to get a hot snap, it's going to be the same as a cold snap. We had a heat dome this last year that went up to, wow, it was 120. And I don't know when I've seen that before, but yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah, the weather's been strange on the West Coast.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, are you seeing a cold snap right now? Because Portland was at 35 today.
Oh yeah, it's not.
Like
It hasn't warmed up here. Not really. No,
Yeah.
we're not getting any good weather. It's raining right now, actually.
We don't get rain.
No, you need
we
it.
export it. We actually bore it from you.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm starting to throw on my little accent. Yeah, so my understanding is we actually buy water from you and pipe it all the way down to the Central Valley, all the way down to Bakersfield, etc. And some of it goes even to LA and LA Basin because we're so starving for water.
Yeah, well, I know that. Yeah, the water from this lake, from Okanagan Lake, yes, is what ends up, I believe, down there, and they control everything down in Penticton. And last year they made quite an error because the lake was so low the entire year. It was awful, and we need this rain. We need the runoff from the mountains to the lake's starting to come up, but not as much as it should be right now.
Right. We last year we went up to Portland and to go see my aunt and uncle again, and we drove through Shasta, which is one of the big volcanoes that we have near Mount
Right.
St. Helens, which is, I think, Portland, but Shasta is on the California side. And there's Shasta Lake, which is this big, huge resort place. People come from miles around, hundreds of miles around to come water ski, boat ski, boat or water houseboat and all that.
Right.
And it was down to almost a creek. It was horrible. And like you, I mean, one of the main reasons why I wanted to have you on is because I know that you're having forest fire issues or wildfire issues.
Mm-hmm.
California's been stricken with it. Oregon's been stricken with it. And Washington and Idaho and even Montana to some extent have been stricken with it. So, I think that's just a good realization to bring it together, saying, it's not just California, because a lot of us get off at our government, but it's just, it'll get better. We cycle through it. I remember seeing pictures of being here in Oakland in 72, 75, 76, 77 timeframe, and there was snow on the ground. So, we cycle through, and we have climate change and all that stuff, but it'll come back. It'll get better.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I'm sorry to hear that people lost their houses, but that's going to happen when you live near a forest.
Yeah. Yeah. It's unfortunate. Yeah.
We had a family cabin. My aunt and uncle had it for many years, and we took it over for about 10 years in a place called Long Barn, California, which is right by Yosemite. And I want to say 10 years ago, maybe 15 now, there was the rim fire of Yosemite, and it just got loose. I don't remember exactly how it started, but it ran through Yosemite, and it got so close to our house that our people in the long barn had to be evacuated, and the fire line was 5 miles away from my cabin.
Oh,
So
that's
I
scary.
was secretly hoping it would burn down. But because I did, I mean, when you have a cabin, it's more like the bane of your existence.
Right.
You don't really go on vacation. You go on chore duty.
Right, right.
Go fix up
Got it.
another house. So,
It's funny.
what else? What other? You don't really have any professional teams other than what's down in Vancouver, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, we cheer for the Canucks. Here in Vernon, we have a junior A team called the Vernon Vipers, and so they're one of the teams that we support. Well, I mean, they're the pretty much the biggest team around here. So and they do very well. They do very well.
And that's like a minor team, right? That's like
Yeah.
we had the Bulldogs, and down in Long Beach they had the Seals. That kind
Right.
of.
It's probably, yeah, I would say it's probably similar to that. We have an arena here where they play and they play around with the locals, but they've been champions for many years.
That's good to hear. Good to
Yeah.
hear. Yeah, I always like going to see those because I feel like they try a lot harder,
Yes.
play
Oh, for
harder,
sure. They give her.
they fight a lot harder.
That's right.
We have the San Jose Giants which is a feeder team for our San Francisco Giants, and Buster Posey actually played on San Jose Giants. If you're a baseball fan, and I think he's retiring this year, but I remember seeing him at the San Jose Giants play, and it was it's just like minor league in hockey. They play a lot harder. They play a lot. They play for keeps because they're trying to get up there. Once you're up there, once you're up at the show, you kind of coasted a little bit.
Right.
That's
Right.
good. So, any kind of major industries that attract people there?
It's mostly tourism here now. We used to be more diverse, and there still is. We have a number of mills around that are big employers. Cal Tire, actually, I don't know if you've ever heard of Cal Tire, but
I have.
yes, right. But Cal Tire originated here, and so their corporate jets go out of our little airport here every day. And so Cal Tire is a big employer, and but otherwise, our main industry now really is tourism.
Tourism. So,
Yeah.
and then your major client would be second homes.
There's a lot of second home buyers. We're getting a lot of people that are either retiring early, or they can just work remotely now. So COVID was very good for our real estate industry, obviously, as it was almost everywhere. But here, particularly because it's a place that people want to live. So now they're able to live where they want to, not where they have to. And so we're getting a lot of people moving here to just work from home. Now, and also saying that, you're absolutely right. Lots of second home buyers. We have lots of. Last I had checked, it was over 50% of the homeowners on Lake Okanagan, anyways, were not from Vernon. Their primary address wasn't Vernon.
So, is there like a tourist season, like a season where it kind of picks up, or is it
Oh,
kind
yeah.
of
July, yeah, July, August is when everything goes.
That's when you go down to Palm Springs.
Yeah, that's probably right. Well, July, August in Palm Springs. Oh, pretty brutal. Yeah, no, actually, now you have to stay home and protect your stuff because because of the wildfires. No, that's actually no, it's beautiful here in the summer. It's beautiful. So we love to stay around and enjoy the lakes and hike and bike and shoot and all that sort of thing. So, and it's our busiest season too. July, August Although it's not, it's probably, I'm sure, probably not your busiest season, but it is for us.
Our busiest for real estate, you mean, right?
Yes, yes.
So traditionally, our real estate has been March through May,
Right.
and this May it actually started drying up just because rates started going up.
Yeah.
But for the last since March of 2020, it has not stopped. It's just been going crazy, 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 and people are like they're frustrated, and
Yeah.
we've seen like 26 and 30% increase in values. You must have been seeing a lot of jumps in value too, right?
You bet. You bet. Yeah, you're talking our numbers for sure. We're over 2% a month for the last while. It's now we're starting to. It's similar to what you just said. Rates have come up a little bit, and I think that mayhem is out of the market now a little bit. I mean, we're still getting multiple offers. However, sometimes we aren't. It's not necessarily commonplace. Maybe with single family homes that are within that really popular price range. Our average house price is now around 770 Canadian. So that's a lot less. We're we're at about
50 cents on
600.
the dollar, right?
Yeah. What would your average house price be down in San Jose?
It depends on where you are. San Jose right now is 1.8 on the average.
Wow.
We have houses that are barely under $1 million, and those are ones that are ready to fall over, which is, I know, it's almost insulting. And then we also have, like $53 million homes because we have the VC, we have startups, we have all the big tech here, right? And we have a lot of money. And just I live in Blossom Valley, and the valley next to me is Almaden Valley. You go further west, and my house average here is 1.5, and then over there is 1.9, and you go to Los Gatos, which is the next valley over, and those start around 2.1, and it's crazy. I couldn't afford to do it. I wouldn't afford to do it. And I'm working with a ton of buyers right now, and they're struggling. So we go down to Morgan Hill or Gilroy or San Martin or even Hollister, which is another county, so it's an hour away for us. And they're trying to figure out if they want to make that struggle or not.
Yeah.
So we're just seeing right now, we're seeing rates go around 5.5, which, has definitely put the brakes on, put the anchor in the boat or out of the boat for sure.
Yeah.
So what's a typical rate for you?
Oh, well, geez, our rates have been, we're probably right in and around that 3.5%, 4% right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
And a mortgage in Canada is pretty much the same thing, right? It's fully amortized over 30 years, that type of thing.
Yeah, they're not too excited about 30 years anymore, 25. And the other thing about owning in Canada relative to the United States, unfortunately, you cannot write off your mortgage interest. And we also don't have that 1031 exchange that you have down there, which is so nice.
Yeah.
When you sell, you're paying capital gains on an investment property. However, your principal residence, there is no capital gain, no tax on your own house at this point anyways.
So if I bought a house way back when, 1975, when I left, for $30,000, and now it's worth $800,000, there's no capital gains at all?
None.
Ooh.
Yes. However, if it's the same thing on investment property, then you will have to pay. You can't just purchase another property and defer it. It doesn't happen here.
Can you move into it and call it your own after a while?
You can, but then the meter starts at when you move in. So if you bought it at 30, it's worth 800, and you move in when it's 800, you won't have to pay from 800 to say 1.2, but the 30 to 8 you're paying.
So those Canadians are pretty smart. So you own a place in Palm Springs?
Yeah, we have a little condo actually, right? Just off downtown.
Yeah. So we have this thing called Proposition 13 that allows us to.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's
Yeah.
something that I've been telling people. All of my business in the last couple of years have been people moving out of either the Bay Area or out of California altogether. And my biggest warning is they don't have anything like Proposition 13 in other states. Like Texas, they have this thing where they'll freeze your property taxes when you turn 55 or 65.
Mm,
And it's not really my job to know all that stuff because it's not my state.
sure.
Florida, they have something similar like that. If you're a 100% disabled vet, that kind of stuff, they have all these different little programs, but they don't have anything like Proposition 13. And last year, that was put on the chopping block twice.
Mm,
When we voted it down, the DA was trying to get rid of Proposition 13. There was a smoke and mirrors thing saying, "Oh, we're going to do it on the commercial side, only industrial and commercial buildings." And I call BS right away because they want the money. They want all that
sure.
money, right? So, like, if you buy a house in Florida for $500,000, and then something like COVID happens, and now it's worth 1.5, well, you're paying property tax on the assessed value of 1.5 versus 500. So, do you have the same thing though too, right?
Same thing. Same thing. Yeah. It's supposed to be based on market value. And it's a it's a facsimile of market value, I suppose. In some cases, you look at the tax assessments and they're way off one way or another. But I always thought that was interesting in California, and wonder how much more tax revenue the government would take in by getting rid of that Proposition 13. I think it would be huge because there's so many. I'm sure I'm sure it would be huge.
So, one thing that we're seeing is a big pain point, and why we have so little listings. We have very little supply. It's because older people are deciding just to stay in their house until they pass on. There's a lot of reasons why, and I go through that in a bunch of different videos. But the whole Proposition 13 has really kind of stalled the counties from being able to collect that tax. However, 2020, Santa Clara County collected over $500 million in property taxes.
Really?
$500 million.
Interesting.
Yeah. 60% of it goes to retirement. Because, when you work for the county, it's not a Ponzi scheme, but it's kind of like an upside down pyramid scheme where you go there and you work your life, and that's great that you do that. I know a lot of county sheriffs and teachers and all this stuff. Well, we're at the point right now where our retirement programs for public servants are stifling the resources of the county. Not just the county, but the city, the state, and everything. So it's something that's coming into a head right now. It's something that why the DA is really struggling to get rid of Proposition 13, which that would really hurt a lot of people.
I'm sure it would, because they've based their whole lives around paying property taxes of this much. If it goes from here to here, yeah, you're right. Probably a lot of the elderly, if they move into a condo, they're going to pay more than they're paying in their house.
Yeah. Well, they could do that. We have this so there was this thing called Proposition 60 and 90, which allowed you to move your property, your tax basis to one house, one property transfer, one time in either your home county, which is Proposition 60, or one of 10 other counties, which was Proposition 90. And you can only do it one time. Had to be of equal or lesser value, and all these other things, but it provided for legacy planning too. So, I talk to a lot of trust lawyers and family planning type people where we're trying to create this big, huge plan so you can, create a legacy for your children and your heirs. We got rid of that, voted like 52% to get rid of 60 and 90 and bring in Proposition 19, I think it was, which allows you to do it 3 times in any county, and it doesn't matter if it's more or less. So you can buy a house back in 1970 for $30,000. Now it's worth $3 million, and you can go buy a $20 million house and transfer your tax basis over, which is great.
Wow.
But you can only do it 3 times. But you have no legacy whatsoever, so you can't. If somebody wanted to take that over, they would actually have to make that their primary residence. So lots of funny rules and things, but it's all meant to make it less advantageous for the homeowner.
Gotcha. Interesting.
Crazy. I mean, I could talk about that stuff all day long, but we're not really talking about California. We're talking about moving out of California.
Right. To Canada.
But like you said, you have fast internet. You have people that are working from home up there that are probably, maybe working for BC Hydro in Vancouver, and they don't have to be at the office every day, and they're thinking, hey, we're hearing a lot of companies requiring their people to come back to work now, at least 3 days a week. But a lot of people are saying, no, I'm not going to do it. Like my wife, she's like, I'm not coming back into the office.
Wow.
So one of the reasons why we're looking outwards and looking outside of different places and trying to see if there's other places for us to go and enjoy the rest of our lives.
Well, come to Vernon. Apparently you can live like a king here when you trade in your fancy US dollars for Canadian dollars and your huge over $1 million average house price down to 770. Everything's on sale, Vito.
Well, it's only like 70%. It's like $1.30 on your side for our dollar. It's not that much. I was thinking 50 cents. I'd be all over that. It's been about that for a long time, right?
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, it used to be that the Canadian dollar back in the late 80s and early 90s were stronger than the US dollar.
Yeah, and even actually, even around 2000, 2006, 2007, we were above. The Canadian dollar was more than the US because that's when we bought our place in Palm Springs and everybody was buying down in Arizona, etc. Maybe 2008-ish, etc. Yeah, so it actually wasn't all that long ago, but the Canadian dollar should be up because oil's up, but something's gone wrong. It's not.
I have no idea what's going on.
Me neither.
It's so crazy what we've done to the world. I don't say that embarrassingly.
It's true.
And I am nonpartisan. I don't care. I know you have the Republican and Democrats or something similar to that, but I don't know what they're doing. I have no idea. I think there's something bigger than meant for the bigger people, and let us just squander and think that us buying $1 million real estate is a thing to do.
Right.
Tell me about this. This is your listing. Swan Beach.
Yeah, that's out in Mara, which is Mara Lake is another lake this isn't right in Vernon. This is going over towards the Shuswap. So you're a little bit farther. So let's see.
Is it Swan Lake?
No, that's right in Vernon. Swan Lake is in Vernon. It's Mara Lake. And so, you'll have to, exactly that way where you're,
right
keep
here?
Going up on your map.
Oh, so you're out in the outback here.
Yeah. So there's, So it's that one's a little bit farther out. And that's why you're seeing the price where that particular one is. It's a little bit less than you would find, say, on Okanagan Lake, but you get a lot of, you're getting a pretty good value for your money there.
And this one's listed at 2.7.
Yeah, but it's on. Yeah, you're right. You're right on the lake
on the
there.
water.
Yeah.
So anything on the water is going to get you.
Oh boy, yeah, you bet. Yeah, we saw, the lakefront properties were flat for a lot of years, but in the last couple of years they've started to come up and really outperform.
Look at that. That's $1 million view. Well, it's a
Isn't that
$2.7
beautiful?
million view.
So beautiful.
Wow. Look at that. Lisa, you should buy it and then invite us up there.
You're right.
Oh, that is gorgeous.
It is. It's a beautiful place. Yeah, very it's got a real country feel, and but Mirror Lake it's a beautiful, beautiful lake.
But this would definitely be a second home, though, for somebody, because Merrill Lake sounds like it's fairly far away from almost anything, right?
Yeah, it's not, you're not really close, but there's lots of principal residence people that live out there. But yeah, it's I mean, there's a pretty good chance it's going to be a second home person that buys this property for sure.
Is
And
that
back in the day, my dad used to develop properties. He would buy acreages and subdivide them in the Mara area. And in fact, that was one of my first listings I ever had, was out in that direction, one of his leftover lots that he had right at the very end of one of his developments.
I saw that there was another lot that you have for sale here for just under $1 million or just over $1 million.
Yeah, we have that
Yeah.
one. Are you looking at that one on Smith Road down at the bottom there?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a it's a bit of a tough it's a bit of a tough build, that one, but it is on one of the most coveted streets on Okanagan Lake on the north end. Very, very nice location. It's a quiet street off of the main road. And
I see. Yeah. Very cool.
yeah, so East Side Road is the main road that goes down the lake, and then yeah, the Smith Road goes down. Smith Road, Peter Road, Delcliffe, those are all really beautiful areas. And you can see if East Side Road went through to Kelowna, that would be a nice way to get to Kelowna. Unfortunately, it doesn't. If you want to go to Kelowna, you have to go all the way back in and around.
Right. You have to go back down to catch 97 and then go back down.
Exactly. That's right. Yeah.
Would you look at this?
Exactly. So Cars Landing, you can't get to Cars Landing unless you go out Highway 97, which is unfortunate because Cars Landing is literally, it's just like right around, it's right there from the end of from the end of East Side Road.
Yeah,
But
I was just thinking our fearless leader, Karen.
oh, okay, right. Oh, yeah, yeah. Good
Folks,
point.
if you're watching this, that's how Lisa and I know each other. We're in a video mentorship group. We do video marketing to attract buyers and sellers, and we met each other through Karen Carr's YouTube for Agents program. And it's been, I mean, my business is really solidified over that because it allows me to talk about real estate all the time on video, and it makes me feel a little more confident when I'm talking to other people and doing the market updates and all that other stuff. It allows me to really feel more comfortable about talking about my business, my career, a little more confidently. So wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. Best thing I ever did was take her course. And it just gave me, I mean, I knew I needed to do more video. I knew people wanted to see more video. I just, at the time, she kept saying it. Yes, people are going to relate to you better. And it's just such a great way to educate people on where we live and what it has to offer. And we have people every day that contact us, maybe not every day, but every week certainly, that contact us because they've been on YouTube and they've seen our videos. So it works. There's no question.
The best part about it, and you look at this picture right here. The picture really sells what Vernon is about. It's just gorgeous. It's like, oh, I have to live here. It's gorgeous, right? I mean, you live in God's country.
It's true. And that lake, that's Kalamalka Lake. It looks like that. It looks like that. It looks like you're in the Caribbean. And in fact, it is National Geographic in the 60s stated that it was one of the 10 most beautiful lakes in the world.
Well, I can believe that.
That is
I'll second that.
Claim to fame. Yeah.
So before we had kids, Jill and I would go travel around and, go rent a cabin here and there and all over the place. And we went up to the place called Clear Lake. Of all places, his name is place is Clear Lake. And I knew of it because the guy I served with, his family had a cabin up there, and I went up with him and hung out with a bunch of, crazy Marines and caused trouble. I thought it'd be fun to go up there years later when I knew my girlfriend at the time, now wife, after 20 something years. Don't ask. Don't ask.
Okay.
And we go up there and it's just fouled with seaweed and moss and all sorts of stuff. So it wasn't very clear and it wasn't very
Oh,
fun.
not Clear Lake.
No, it was gunky lake. And it's sad that things like that happen, but it comes and goes. Like, you have to believe that it's going to be like that. So maybe one day we'll come up and visit you and we'll spend a weekend at that nice place and you can Airbnb it to us.
There you go. Perfect. Sounds good.
Well, Lisa, we're rounding out at almost 51 minutes now.
Okay.
And you're like, hey, is this really going to be an hour? I promised you it was only going to be 25, 30 minutes, but we had a good time. I think we had a really fun time doing this.
Yeah, this is great. This is a great idea. Thanks for inviting me, Vito.
Absolutely. And if anybody wants to get a hold of Lisa, go to saltfowler.com and you can go to her website and check it out and ask her questions. And maybe she'll give you a really great deal on that Swan Creek listing.
There you go. Just for you.
Maybe 2.698.
That's right.
Well, hey, it's been fun. Thanks a lot, Lisa.
Thanks a lot, Vito.
We'll see you out there. Bye.
You bet. Bye.
Yikes.